are now tuning in to the All Things Good podcast.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the All Things Good podcast. I'm your coach and your host, Giovanna Cervillo. Thank you so much for tuning into the podcast that helps you with self-development, mental health, and your overall wellness, helping you become the greatest version of yourself. Today, we have an amazing guest. We are going to be talking a little bit about life after death. We're going to be talking about the trauma that was experienced from this death that took place in the prison. And I mean, his name is 2020, Mr. 2020. For some reason, when I think of it, I think of Pitbull, Mr. Worldwide. I don't know if that is. But help me by welcoming Mr. 2020. Hello, 2020. How are you today?
I am fantastic. This is a real pleasure and a real treat. I love, I just want to let you know I love what you do and how you show up in the world. And it's all about vision, as you know. So thanks for having me here.
Thank you. Thank you for being a guest. I read your bio. We were on a podcast group and I read your bio and I was like, oh, I need him on the pod. So thank you so much for being willing and to share your story about your life and death situation, or death and life situation. So tell us, you said your life changed at the age of 23 during a prison riot. Can you
bet.
share that? What happened? And why
Yeah,
are you in prison?
So the short version is, when you get your head kicked in, you do poop your pants, from what I can tell, and it stinks. It's not fun. But what happened was, I was a little boy when I was a little boy, and I had these dreams. I wanted to. First, I wanted to be a black belt in Kempo karate, and I also wanted to be a policeman. I wanted to make a difference in the world. And so I got my first degree black belt, got my second degree black belt, went to the police academy. I worked at 3 part-time police jobs at the same time, which meant I was either working 80 hours a week or 8. It was crazy. And I decided, you know what? A buddy of mine worked in the prison. And he said, why don't you come out to Camp Hill? 40 hours a week, decent benefits. In 10 years, you can transfer out to something else. And I thought, that's cool, right? So I did that. And I say that because no little boy dreams of being a prison guard.
Right.
And I sold out my dreams. I started having a near-life experience. I settled for security. I settled for safety. I settled for healthcare. Right, yeah, like all that stuff that we're taught to chase. And I got married, and I got hired at the prison. And 3 months into the marriage and 4 months into the prison, we had a 3-day prison riot. Wow. And on day 2, I got kicked around like a football, and died. And when they brought me back, I had 2 really interesting experiences happen in seconds. One, I got PTSD. 2, I had what they call a near-death experience. So the best of the best and the worst of the worst all at once. And it was just a fascinating, I look back now, right? It was fascinating. And it really set me on this adventure of a lifetime, exploring who are we? How does it work? What are we here for? And what can we contribute while we're here? You know what I mean? Like, wouldn't it be fun to, when I was in Boy Scouts, they taught us, when you leave a campsite, you leave it better than when you found it. So what if we did that today? What if we did that every day? And I get you and I are doing that.
Right. Wow. So I'm thinking that you were actually like in prison, like you weren't the guard, that you were actually incarcerated, but you were on the other side.
Yeah, I was incarcerated for 12 hours.
Oh my God. And I laugh, but it's not funny, but it's okay. So I had it all twisted, but thank you for clarifying that, because I'm just like, oh my God, what took place? How did you get out? What's going on? But when people hear I died and came back, they sometimes miss the quieter part, the aftermath. So what did it feel like you after the trauma? Like, what happened when you woke up?
I was, with PTSD, I was dissociated like a lot of people. PTSD tends to give you 2 gifts. anxiety and depression. And what a combo. It's like sweet and sour pork. It is what it is. And it's like, all right. And I get to deal with this. The other side of the coin was I also experienced this expansive peace and oneness and joy of discovering we don't die, that there's something that follows.
Mm-hmm.
And so here I am. There's literally two versions of me existing every day. One that is hypnotized by the echoes in the darkness, and the other one that has seen the light. And unbeknownst to me, I just wanted to survive all that and try to put my life back together. I still had dreams of being a cop. I realized I couldn't be one, but it was just one of those fascinating things where it was like I got to sit back and go, what's really important? What's really important to me? I sold what was important to me for safety, security, healthcare, uh, but why am I here? What can I do here?
Right.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, you said a lot, and I don't want to jump ahead of the gun, but okay, so you woke up, you were dissociated. So what were your emotions like? What were you feeling? What were you thinking? What was going through your head during this time?
So I got kicked to death, and came back. That was pretty early. That would have been before midnight. So I didn't get rescued till like 6 in the morning.
Oh,
And
wow.
and so I've got 6 hours of knowing uh, most hostages die during rescue attempts, and I figured they're not going to do a rescue attempt till daylight because that would make more sense. So I've got 6 hours, and what do I do? I had every emotion possible going on. Uh, I also was pretty crafty. I figured out if they think I'm freezing to death, they'll cover me with blankets. If I can get 12 inches of blankets on me, I won't get stabbed. So
Mm-hmm.
I got them to cover me with blankets and chatted with them a lot. There's that thing you probably know about Stockholm syndrome where hostages take on the belief systems of their captors. I started having conversations with them. I'm good at that. And by the time I escaped, we were getting along just fine. They did let me know, look, odds are you're going to die. I said, yeah, I'm aware of that. But at least we can be friends for a couple hours. Wouldn't that be nice?
Right.
Uh, so it's an interesting stretch because uh, everything showed up, and which almost led to Buzz Aldrin, I believe, when he came back from the moon. One of the things that happened was he became an alcoholic and may have attempted suicide. I can't remember, but I know he thought about it from what I've read.
Mm.
And, and guess what happens? Tony Robbins and Budweiser became my best friends because Tony was on at 3 in the morning when I couldn't sleep. Budweiser was readily available in Pennsylvania. And there comes the point where I decide, you know what? I'm just gonna check out because even though I had the best and the worst, you know, my wife and I split up. Yeah, I just couldn't get anything to work. And I thought, well, something's got to give. And fortunately, at that moment, I thought about my grandma. And I thought, I can't let my grandma hear that I left like that.
Mm.
My love of her invited me to stick around. And here we are.
Wow. Wow. Wow, 2020. So I can't wait to get into why you decided to rename yourself and change your name to 2020. We'll get there. We'll get there. I know that
Yeah,
the audience is
cool.
dying to find out. But you mentioned in your submission in your bio that your nervous system never really settled. What helped you realize that this wasn't just a mindset issue, but it was also a body issue?
Wow. I'm one of those weirdos that gets obsessed about researching things.
Mm-hmm.
And my accountant can't comprehend why I buy so many books in a year, Kindle books, physical books, sometimes Kindle, the physical and the audio, because if I can hear the author, I want to hear the author. And I really got uh, there was a physical change. And we really do with uh, we can call them traumas, we can call them enlightenment experiences. When something massive happens, it's sort of like when you take a bar of steel and you pound it with a hammer, it becomes a magnet.
Hmm.
And and and, and literally our myelin changes, our fascia can change. These biological logical changes happen whenever we experience a profound shift. And one of the things that really helped me out was uh, I went to the woods. I figured I had this crazy idea. If I go to the woods, I won't see these things called people because I thought people made me mad, and
Okay.
and and so I went to the woods and I discovered what I needed to do there. Besides learning Native American philosophy, was I had to lose my mind,
Mm.
come back to my senses, and realize, you know what, we really are. We're okay. It's okay. And the more I'm aware of what's out there and in there, the less I am lost in loops.
Right. Now you said you had to lose your mind. Can you expound on that? Can you let us know what exactly does that mean to you?
That's a good question. I was so loopy, and we all know what loopy is. If this, then that, then that, then this, and we just enter into loopy. I think they call it in Spanish "loco de la cabeza" or something, a bird in the head. We just do that. And when I started hanging out with the Native Americans and going back to the woods, uh, they taught me some things: how to walk without making a noise, how to let the birds tell you everything. And even just those two skills help me pay attention to what's going on instead of being lost in what happened.
Right.
And so I lost my mind, which was loopy, good, bad, right, wrong, this, that, and came back to what did that bird that just made noise tell me?
Mm.
And I continuously listen to the birds because they tell me everything. When there's a snake outside, so we can bring the puppies in. When the bird bath is empty, it'll tell me that. Uh, but we don't pay attention to what's out there and what's in there because we get stuck in the middle in the brain. So
Okay. Okay, so in essence, you're saying you became more present because a lot of the times we get so caught up in our thoughts, we get caught up in memory, we can get caught up in just the mundane routine and rumination of the mind. It continues, it goes, and what about this and what about that? Or going back into the replaying of everything that took place. But instead of dissociating, you became present.
yeah, I love words, and I'm writing a book on this very thing, the gift. Uh, what is the present? Here's a present. Hey, but by the way, you're a present to me today, I'm a present to you, and we're a present to everyone who hears this. You'll
Right.
share it. It'll give to people. The present is a gift. If I can be present with what is really in there and what's really out there, the loops stop. In other words, can I accept the gift? Which leads us to what's the gift of me? The gift of me was not to be a prison guard. The gift to me was to teach, and that's what I've been most passionate about my whole life. And it's like if we're present, you're present with me now, and you're present with me now. We're a gift to each other and to the world. It
Right.
may seem corny to some people, but when we realize how much the present gives to us and how much we give as being the present moment, uh, how cool.
I'm in complete agreement because I've been saying this to myself lately is if we could become more present, then obviously we can become more aware. And if we become more aware, imagine the goodness that would really happen throughout our lives, through our day-to-day experience. I
Yeah.
feel that a lot of people, including me, us, I know you corrected me the other day in our conversation, we as a whole, we become lost in our thoughts and we don't become, we lose the present moment and we lose our awareness, and we don't even realize the things that we are saying, the things that we are doing, the harm that we may be causing someone else. And so I'm in complete agreement with you. Presence is the being present is a present. And so yes, I love that.
Beautiful.
I love that you share that.
Beautiful. Wow.
So let's talk about you. Okay, can we talk about what did you do you remember anything that took place in that place of in the other side? Do you
Yeah,
remember
yeah,
anything that took place there?
yeah. Yeah. I've had the typical things everyone talks about: the tunnel of light, friends and family, a little bit of, hey, check this out. Here's your life, that kind of stuff. That was all
Mhm.
fun. The weird thing was, uh, there were two little blonde kids there, uh, and I got a vasectomy like 2 years later.
Oh,
Yeah, I knew I was too nuts to have kids, but these two little blonde kids were there, and it's like that's interesting, right? And I got they were in one way or another mine. Uh,
mm-hmm.
it would be very dear to me for the rest of my life. But heck, that didn't happen. Uh, and that was one of the puzzle boxes because I could. Uh, I remember when I was there and being sort of like sucked back into my body. You know, that was the feeling. Uh, Almost a letdown, but also one of my thoughts when I was quote unquote there was, what a bummer, man. I mean, this is great, but man, 23 and done, one and done. That's a bummer. When I came back in, there was the thought of like, this place really stinks, and it did. Because when you get beat like that, things happen, biological stuff.
Right.
But the kids stuck with me.
Mm.
It's like, what's this all about? And it wasn't until I moved to Australia that I met them. Uh, they're two of my nephews.
Oh wow.
And it was the coolest, weirdest little thing. And I get off the plane, I go through customs and immigration and all that stuff. I walk outside, and there are these two little blonde haired kids going, "Hey, Mr. 2020." I'm like, "Whoa." And it's like, wow, gotcha. And they're still really, they're a cool part of my life. So I get it. I came here in one way to be an uncle, and it's just good fun. So the feeling of profound peace, joy, and love, yeah. And I carry that to this day. But also the PTSD of hyper vigilant and hyper reactive. Getting those two on the same plate, uh,
Mhm.
fascinating, because I really got to choose, uh, which way do we want to go here. It'd be real easy to go meds and treatments, and sometimes people do that.
Right.
Uh, Instead, I had the opportunity to choose. Uh, let's do what I'm good at, exploring. Let's explore who we are and how it works, and see what we can give.
Right. Speaking of, you had to decide which direction you were going to go in. How did PTSD show up for you on a day-to-day basis after that time?
That was the typical night terrors. Yeah, yeah, the sweats, flashbacks, being very reactive to pretty much everything. I've got a
Mhm.
list. Uh, OH-58 helicopters, black people, chainsaws, smoke. I mean, all these things would just trigger the shit out of me. And then
Wow.
like, and then like 10 years later, I got a fellow that comes in for a seminar, Willie D. Harris Jr., big old black guy, just as black as you can get from Texas, and he's sleeping on my sofa, and I got people saying, "Man, you're different." I said, "Yeah, I got over all my crap," and it had nothing with helicopters, black people, chainsaws, fire, all those triggers that I had. It had nothing to do with them. It had to do with what am I imagining about
Right.
helicopters, chainsaws, and just good stuff. You know what I mean? So there was a real opportunity to notice what I think is triggering me ain't what triggering me, but
Hmm.
something on the inside that I'm adding to the mix. And if
Right.
I can do that, then my biology resets itself and it grows. And And that's cool.
Wow. Okay. All right, Mr. 2020. I love saying it. I don't know why. Okay, so you went through this experience, you died, came back, and you began to kind of rewrite your experiences, your trauma, the things that you associated with the thing that took place in the prison.
You bet.
Tell us about what came to you when you decided that you were going to change your name to 2020. What narrative were you changing? What was the change for? Like, let's dive deeper into that and the reasoning for that.
So I was reading this relatively unknown author, Napoleon Hill, which almost everybody that's into some development knows about Napoleon Hill. He wrote Think and Grow Rich. And I came across some rare recordings of his that I bought and listened to like 10 hours a day. And there's a story that he shares about his author is going to publish his book under the title Use Your Noodle to Get the Boodle because Napoleon Hill hasn't been able to come up with a title. And Napoleon Hill goes, that'll ruin me. That'll ruin me. Like those decades of work, it'll ruin me. So he goes to bed and he prays. He goes, look, I need a title. And he woke up with Think and Grow Rich. And Think and Grow Rich is sold, yeah, it's one of the biggest selling books of the last 100 years. Changed a lot of lives.
Mm-hmm.
And I went, oh, that's cool. Let me do that. So I used to have a normal name and I did weird things. And I thought, well, let's see what happens, right? So I go to bed and I do my version of that. I go, ready, all. I need, yeah, I'll talk all redneck here. I need me a shift. I need something that's gonna, like, what is it? I need something like Think and Grow Rich. And I wake up with a voice in my head saying, change your name to Mr. 2020. I go, right. Well, let's ignore that. That's insane. The next night, I wake up the same way. The third day in a row, and I go to my wife at the time and says, I've got a problem, right? It won't go away. It keeps nagging me. I can't sleep. And she's like, I'm fine with it. I said, okay, cool. Me too. So I changed my name to Mr. 2020. And for the rest of my life, that went through when I was 41 years old, started when I was 40. I was approved 4 days after my birthday. And since then, I've been exploring why. I got it at one level back then. I get it at a different level now. Back then, to change your name in Pennsylvania, you had to get an attorney, background check, fingerprints, all that stuff. And so I go to the Pennsylvania State Police Barracks, Uniontown, Pennsylvania, and I walk in and I said, listen, uh, here's my paperwork. I need some fingerprints. And this huge cop comes out and he goes, who the heck wants to be a rap star? I'm, I'm the only guy in the room, right? And this is back with like 50 Cent and all them people. I guess that's me, right? I'm the only one here. He goes, come on. So we go back and, it's like, okay. So he starts typing on the fingerprint card so I can have them. He goes, talk to me. And I said, listen, it has nothing to do with rap, right? Yeah. This is before I had an opera coach. I said, I can't even sing, but here's the deal. Vision, right? I said, I used to do your job, and now I do mine. And my job is to help people discover vision because if they have vision, they don't become your clients. They do something good in the world. And he tells me, stop talking. He leaves the room and he brings back every available trooper that's on the station. Listen to this guy. And we had a chat, rolled the fingerprints. 3 months later or so, I'm in front of the judge. Judge pulls down his glasses. And he goes, tell me on. Listen, state trooper, big guy, glasses mirrored on the inside, all this stuff. My clients, his clients, life is all about vision. And if people live from vision, they don't become your client's judge. All right, that works. Bang. And I've been exploring that ever since. The power of vision. We get stuck, and I know you see this with your clients. We get stuck with echoes and inner arguments.
Mm-hmm.
And some wise guy said, a picture's worth 1,000 words. From what I can tell, a people without vision shall perish. They said that in the good book.
Yeah.
But what really comes down to it, uh, what's a vision worth? A vision will stun you to silence, and a vision will give you a reason to sing and speak and live in a way that just can't help but give. So here I am. I'm the crazy guy who changed his name to Mr. 2020, uh, the number of perfect vision. And what am I here to do? I want you to just discover as you are, you're perfect. You're the perfect you.
Mm.
And inside of you is a vision. There's something unique to you that nobody else on the planet has.
Right.
And you don't got to try to figure it out. All you got to do is let it flow. And then you find out about it along the way.
I love,
And that's what you're doing. That's what you're doing. And look at what's happening.
I love that. I love that. That is so amazing that you were inspired to change your name. And it's like, honestly, it sparks conversation.
It sure does.
And so everywhere you go, when you introduce yourself, it gives you an opportunity to share who you are, your vision, and how you can change, how
Yeah.
it's changed your life and how others can use the same thing, vision, to change theirs.
Yeah.
I love
I ended up so you could probably tell I'm an American expat. Grew up in Pennsylvania. I can talk kind of redneck because I come from a small town, but it's close to Appalachia, so I can do that too. And and I go to the pool every day because of how I see myself in the world. I go to the swimming gym. I'm there for an hour and a half, 2 hours. And you'll never guess the number one thing people want to talk to me about when they hear me talk.
what, your accent?
No, Trump.
Oh,
I said,
God.
oh, yeah. You're American. I said, yeah. Used to could be. What do you think about Trump? I said, let me introduce myself. How about if we start there? Right?
Right.
Yeah. What's your name? I'm Mr. 2020. What? I said, yeah. Yeah. Life's all about vision. Doing what's really what matters. Not we don't live for small talk where I come from. Well, we do, but I don't. And then suddenly the conversation drifts into some cool stuff because I'm all about vision. I could give a crap about argument.
Right.
What the number one thing in my universe, quote unquote, and in yours is you. If we're waiting for the next president or prime minister, we're screwed
We're
because the
done.
next one will be as bad as the previous one, just bad in a different way because people are putting their faith in them.
Hmm.
And you notice I've just launched into, and the faith is in you. You got a God given vision. If you got a desire, there's a means for it, and you don't got to figure it out. You just got to let it flow.
Right.
And now I got a conversation going on versus yep, that guy said this about Trump, and I told him I don't care. I just don't. I care about you.
I love that. I love that you're able to turn the conversation around with, how about you just, let's exchange names and then take it from there and see what
Yeah,
happens.
let's start out with who's in the room because that other guy's not in the room, right?
Right.
You and I. So
Right. Okay, so you speak a lot about imagination and healing and real change.
you bet.
How does imagination support healing without becoming escapism?
You know what? That's probably the best question I've had this year, and I know this is a cop out. We're only 14 days in here. 13 days in your neighborhood, 14 in mine. But the thing is, here's what I mean by imagination. You saw something I wrote someplace, and you went, I got to talk to this guy. Uh, we wrote back and forth and had a quick chat, and I go, I got to dance with her because this thing to a lot of people. That's imagining. How I experience what I experience is imagining. Escapism is let me make a mind movie, feel good for a little bit, and then it'll fade.
Mhm.
It's sort of like a mind movie is the same as watching Jason Bourne. I love me some Jason Bourne, right? He's just fun. And so if we watch Jason Bourne, we have a good time, and then the next day we forget some of the movie, and the next day we forget more, and then we another distraction, And that's the nature of a mind movie or a movie on Netflix. On the other hand, what I consider imagination to be is how you experience what you experience in every moment. I it's one of those things where I there's something I call a state. A state is literally how I experience what I experience. And before we had puppy dogs, I was a loving puppy dad. I just love puppies. They haven't barked yet. This is cool, right? And so Victoria and I go, yeah, another one of my states, ways I perceive the world as happy living husband. And so Victoria and I are shopping, and this guy doesn't take plastic. And I'm just thinking, what moron doesn't take plastic? He goes, well, there's an ATM up the road. I says, you're telling me I got to leave your shop to give you money? Right? All right. Fair enough. So I tell Victoria, keep shopping, I'll get some money.
Mm-hmm.
And I leave, and I don't go back. Right? There's a long line at the ATM, and there's a lady in front of me with a wiener dog. And I'm laying on the ground. Hello, wiener dog. I love you, wiener dog. Wiener dog, you can do anything you want to in this world. You're the best wiener dog ever. And eventually Victoria comes up and she's like, you coming back? So yeah, I found me a wiener dog, right? I love dogs. So my reactions to the world are led by my state, which is my imaginal experience. And so how I imagine you, uh, pure sunshine. I got it real quick when you wrote me and I wrote you and then we chatted. Pure sunshine. And me experiencing you as pure sunshine means you and I get to dispel clouds.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not an escapism, it's an entry into what's possible.
Right.
And you and I will never be the same after dancing this way. And whoever listens to this will never be the same because we will imagine something differently.
Right.
And there's the cool thing right there.
Right.
Thanks. That was fantastic. That was a good gift to me.
I love that. I love how you broke that down. And I love the fact that pretty much what you are stating, but you painted it with so much lovely words and you painted a picture for us was is that imagination is different from escapism because you begin to make it a reality. It is the
Yeah,
action that you take to take it from just imagining, but actually making something happen, tangible, making something tangible happen here on
yeah,
Earth. So I love that. I love that you explained that. That's how I perceived it anyway.
yeah. That's fantastic. You're giving it back to me in words that I normally wouldn't use, but I'll steal your words because that's what I do. I go, that's good. I'll take that, right? And I'll bless the world with our dance.
Right. Exactly. So, okay, why do you think people understand healing intellectually? And I probably just answered the question, but don't actually experience change.
Wow. If you look at a video or a photo of me from 3 years ago, uh, I think I'm still a handsome guy. But I've got 60 pounds of ugly on my frame, puffiness in my eyes, uh, making good money, making a good difference in the world, doing what I do.
Mhm.
Uh, but my left hip was blown, stabbing pain with every step. My
Mhm.
right hip clunkety clunk with every step. They told me, look, you're looking at one now and one later, hip replacements. And it's like, man, I'm 50 some years old. If a hip replacement lasts 15, 20 years, I'm looking at getting a couple in my lifetime. I don't want to do that.
Right.
And so I had a problem, pain and clunk, right?
Mhm.
There's a solution, but I don't want that solution. That's just not me. And this is really important. Every day I'd be going to the swimming gym, doing what I do, maintaining, advancing, but still it was a lot of push and a lot of pain. Christmas Day, 2023. I'm sitting back in a chair just like this out back at the cottage, and it hits me. Who do I want to be in the world? How do I want to be seen? How do I want to see the world? We're going back to vision and identity again.
Right.
And I was remembering when I was the Karate Kid. Boy, when I was the Karate Kid, man, I had like zero body fat, and I could put this foot wherever I wanted to on you just for fun. And it was just great fun. I mean, I went from teenage bedwetter to teenage black belt. And I had fun. And I loved that version of me. And I'm sitting in the chair smoking a cigar, thinking about that kid. He was a fun kid. And it hit me. I'm imagining that kid in the past. I'm literally fantasizing about that kid that I was.
Mm.
And healing happened the moment I surrendered to enjoying my body again. I could be fighting fit and I could be the Kung Fu King. And I just entertained that. It's my possibility. And with those two things, you'll notice that there's something that I haven't mentioned. Fighting fit Kung Fu King. I'm not mentioning my hips at all.
Right.
So for me to heal, there needs to be no room for the problem.
Mm.
So my identity is Kung Fu King, fighting fit. I've lost about 60 pounds of ugly, picked up about 30 pounds of pretty. I'm doing Kung Fu on staircases, like shuffle dancing kind of thing, which I'm fascinated with. I'm the
Oh,
world's worst, 59-year-old American expat shuffle dancer, but I have fun, right? And I avoided staircases for 3 years. And now I'm on them doing Kung Fu things and shuffle dancing kind of things, having fun. But it all came down to embodiment through identity. Kung Fu King. If I'm going to be here for another 60 years, I want to do Kung Fu, man. If I'm
right.
going to be here for another 60 years, I want to be fighting fit. I want to be the guy that inspires, not the guy that hobbles up the step with a gimp stick. I want to explore. What's my vision? I want to. That's vision. And so there was no imagining the hips healed. There was no every day and every way I'm getting better and better. That stuff never really sat well with me personally.
Mm.
What showed up was an identity. Kung Fu King. Fighting fit. Come on down. Let's play a little bit. We'll have some fun. Uh, and that's what made the room. Yeah, healing comes from the same root as wholeness.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Whole man, Kung Fu King, fighting fit, having fun, being an inspiration. A fractured me, hip problem, other hip problem. Uh, so just that one little seeming shift.
I love that. I love that. So is it
Thank
safe to say that within the next couple of years you're going to change your name to the Kung Fu King?
Probably not. Yeah. Oh, it's interesting. I go to the dog park, right? This is years ago. We used to go to the dog park before all the lockdowns and stuff. And there's regulars and there's new kids. And a new kid shows up and he's got his dog on a leash in an off leash area. And that never works because the other dogs will rush it. And since it's on a leash, it feels insecure. So it was my turn. I walked up and said, "Hey, pal, how's it going? Right? What's your dog's name?" And start having a talk. And he tells me, he goes, "Look, is she all right? Let her go. Because she's going to be really scared on lead when everyone else is running around." You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So he lets her off. And I said, "Cool. Hey, what's your name?" He goes, "I've got a weird name." And I went, "This is going to be a gas." Right? His name was Naughty Sea Monkey.
Oh no.
And I'm Mr. 2020, right? And it's like, this is what a hoot. And I guess Naughty Sea Monkey was a character he used to do whenever he was in entertainment in New Zealand. And so he changed his name to Naughty Sea Monkey. I changed my name to Mr. 2020. So we get along just fine. Everyone else is there. Hey, here's Harry. Here's Jim. Yeah, here's Ian. All these normal name people. And then there's the weirdos, right? And there we are. It's so much fun. When you've got two superpowers, don't you? Love and your specific weird. Love is what we all are.
Mm.
We all also have our own specific weird. And if we can let that love that we all are shine and not resist our inner weird, uh, yeah, only a weirdo changes his name to what he is. What the heck? What I mean? Uh,
I
Something to
love
do.
that. Mr. Was it Naughty Sea Monkey? That's
Naughty Sea Monkey. Now he ran into a problem on Facebook. They wouldn't let him call himself Naughty Sea Monkey, so he had to change it to Norty, Norty, which is funny as hell. So it's like, let me get this right. They'll let you make up a word, but they won't let you use a word because it might mean something
Offensive.
not
So that's the
incredible, right? So
I love it. You mentioned something, well, you were speaking about seeing yourself as the Kung Fu King.
you bet.
What came to me was stay true to the vision.
Wow, that's it.
You never altered, you had a vision and you said, this is what I want. And it's not the guy with the bad hips, it's the guy doing Kung Fu and shuffling on the steps.
Yeah.
And so holding on to the vision, how can you give us some words of encouragement for someone who may be desiring a form of healing or maybe desiring some form of family reconciliation, whatever the case might be. How can they begin to set the vision and stay true to the vision with everything else that's going around them? You know, because your reality was that you had bad hips or you needed hip replacement. But
You bet.
you stuck true to what you believe to be true for you. So how
Yep.
can you begin to help someone who is listening, who may be desiring an outcome, may be desiring healing or change? How can you guide them to stay true to the vision, the outcome that they're looking to obtain?
Can I go a little? It may almost sound religious.
Yeah, go ahead.
In biblical Hebrew, there's the name of God and there's the name of Jesus. And the name of Jesus, there's two things that are in the name of God. There's the Hebrew letter Shin and the other Hebrew letter Ayin. That's Shin and Ayin. Shin it looks like a tooth, and it literally means digestive fire.
Mm,
Ayin is to see rightly. Now,
mm,
I find this utterly fascinating. Uh, Seeing with fire.
mm,
Uh, in the Bible, uh, they taught me that Jesus performed miracles. I
mm,
happen to we're all miracles. Just the fact that you're here and that you're you, uh, that's a miracle. Uh, Same here. No matter what our obstacles have been, I was born 2 pounds 4 ounces. Shouldn't have even had lungs, they say. Uh, yeah, here I am yakking away, right? Uh, I We get to see with fire. In other words, when I look on the world, I see the ability to be sunshine. And I think I may have said this. I want to be the Kung Fu King, not just because I like Kung Fu. I want to be the Kung Fu King so that other people see what's possible.
mm,
And I think there's a massive thing when we're willing to see with fire, to let the desire that we have flow through us to the point where we discover, you know how I give to the world? It's by being I thought I was going to be a martial arts teacher and teach human psychology on the side. Turns out my big thing is teaching people how to see differently.
right.
It's the coolest job in the world. And when it comes to any kind of miracle, I can remember going out in the garden and seeing our hillside as I will never get up there again.
Mm,
Gimp stick and the fact that if I slip, I'm going to blow something apart. And now Victoria and we bought this thing called a reciprocating saw. And so we go to the Bunnings and we buy this reciprocating saw. And now I'm all over the hillside, just cutting shit up, dropping it, having a good time. I didn't go near that hill for years. And now I'm saying, I bet I could climb that tree a little bit and get up there with that reciprocating saw and not chop my arm off or something. But I'm having fun again. And I really get when we look at anything, we're going to go in one out of two directions. We're
mhm,
going to have an inner argument against, and that's what the mind is really good at: good, bad, right, wrong, can't do that.
right.
Or we're going to begin to see and seize upon an opportunity, carpe diem. And if we can allow ourselves to see with the fire that we are, in other words, stretch a little bit, because we're either going to shrink every day, we're going to shrink. We have an opportunity, we will shrink or stretch.
Right.
Can I stretch a little bit? Can I stretch a little with you today? Can I invite us both to share something that we may not have shared before or shared in a way that stretches people? One thing I love about chatting with people like you, uh, you and I got this so quick with you. You are willing to stretch.
Yes.
And people who are willing to stretch, that affects their fascial system, which is really a cool system. It affects their myelin. They start wiring nuclear in their brain. Sorry if I swear, I'm not allowed. I try not to swear on your show. The when you stretch, cool things happen, and we're designed to stretch, but we settle for getting bent out of shape.
Mm-hmm.
And if we can just see with a little bit of fire, as in, I'm just going to do a gentle stretch today. I'm going to do one tiny thing that I doubted that I could do yesterday.
Mm.
And suddenly everything becomes an opportunity to stretch, to soar, to reveal the sacred sunshine we are. And here we are.
I love that. Yes. Stretch out. And I completely agree. We have to get uncomfortable. We don't know what is out there unless we take a chance. So sometimes that means getting uncomfortable with continuing on because we are creatures of habit. So if we see something not working, then we just tend to, like you said, go back and say, you know what, nothing is happening. I'm just going to shrink back and just accept what is. But if we get uncomfortable in our belief system, if we get
Yeah.
uncomfortable in our faith, if we get uncomfortable in everything that we do, then we can see the end result. And it might take long, but it might not. And that's the beauty of the unknown and just getting uncomfortable.
I was doing a 30-day course a couple years ago, and I tossed in an exercise real early on, which is fabulous for this. And I think anybody can do it. Doesn't cost a dime. May take a few minutes out of your day. Could I share that?
Sure.
So we all go someplace every day.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's to the bathroom, maybe it's to work, maybe it's shopping. And we tend to drive the same way every time. And we vary our route just a little tiny bit. When I moved here, I didn't know anybody. And we live in a little town called Eltham, and I didn't know anybody. And I didn't really know anything. Uh, I'm at home and I'm geeking online doing what I do. And it's like, I need to get out more. And so I started taking a power walk every day. And every day I'd go into a new little section. I'd explore. I'd be walking little walking trails. And I got to know my little town and discover me at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
We can do something a little different every day. If we're driving to work every day, just drive a little bit different every day. Make a left rude, make a right, see where you end up. If you're 10 minutes late, who cares? Can you eat with your left hand versus your right? Little tiny innocent seeming things done differently will wire us for different because
Yeah.
we same as safety. According to the monkey, same as safety. Right. Uh, on the other hand, stretching feels scary. And,
Yes.
and so what if I backed into a parking spot instead of pulling in? I'm a pull in kind of guy. I woke up one day and I thought, wow, today every place I go, I'm going to back in. Whoa. It's not a big deal, but it's just different. And if we can fire ourselves to do something different, just explore a little different every day. How you drive, where you drive to, how you eat a meal.
Mm-hmm.
I did an experiment one month. All I ate was fingers. All right, this is going to be fun. I just ate with my fingers so I could feel the food and just see what would happen.
Yeah.
But it's the innocent things. If we can do anything with innocence and trust,
Hmm.
just awaken something in us, which is so cool.
Right. I love that. This has been so good, Mr. 2020. Tell
Thank
us, how
you.
can our listeners connect with you? How can they find you? Do you have anything that they can purchase? Any books, any programs? Let us know.
I got all kind of stuff. I tell people, when people talk to me at the pool, I say, if you Google me, you will never escape. I can promise you this. I've been right, uh, which is interesting. But the simple way, uh, mr2020.com. So Mr. 2020.com. Uh, they'll see a smiling face. There'll be some links. I went nuts. Can I talk about going nuts over the holidays? I'm
Sure.
not I'm not a holiday guy. I've discovered that I like people at places at times. And so it's 11 o'clock. I go to the pool. I see my lifeguards and my friends, and I do what I do. They close stuff all around the holidays, right? They change the hours and stuff, and that's like and different people are working, right? They don't let the high expense employees work because they're paying double triple time. They have the cheap kids coming who I don't know, and so like I start going, I don't like this. It's what different. I was like, all right, deep breath, 20, live your message. Right, right, right. I, I published 3 books over the holidays, little projects that are just bouncing around in my box and on my computer because I decided I'm going to take this energy. All right, they're not letting me go to the pool on New Year's Day. I get it. Christmas Day, everything's closed. I'm not happy, but I'll deal with it. So I got out these projects and I thought, right, let me see if I can get one today. Let me see if I can do one tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Put out 3 in 3 days. Coolest thing. And the cool thing, and I'm telling you this because I know there's people like, I don't know if you're an author or not. I might apologize. I should have done some research there. Are you an author?
Not yet.
Oh my God. Okay. Here's for you. Ready? Small books. 50 pages, put some QR codes in the darn things. Sell them for 50 bucks. Good God. Sell them for $15, including shipping. Easy to do. I can point you to all this. But a 50-page book you could write in a month or in a week and maybe edit it down in a day.
Mm-hmm.
You could have, I'm giving you a possibility. You could have 12 books out this year, one a month for fun, 50 pages. Here's the thing. People have no attention span. We've got to book them, we've got to entertain them, or else they drift. Yeah, it's the swipe society. You make 12 little books, 50 pages each, and I can point you at stuff. I'm good at resources. Uh, and watch how you give to the road go. Right? And so that's what I do. I should have a couple with me just to show off. But it's one of those cool things where you go, because the average person's thinking, oh, I got to write a 500-page book because Joe Dispenza wrote a 500-page book. Write 10, 50-page books. Get them in people's hands because you've got a gift and you know it. So you take this vision of yours and you get it on the paper. Oh, wow.
I
And,
know.
and since we've danced and I get you, if you want someone to write a forward, I would be honored to.
Oh, that would be awesome.
So let's rock and roll.
I love
Long answer to
it.
the short question, Mr. 2020.com. So,
We can get lost in the name, lost in the name.
that's
I
it.
love it. I love it. I love the words of advice. Thank you so much for that because I am looking to stretch myself and get that done. So
Cool.
thank you for
So
that.
you get to see from being a published author.
Say that again.
You get to see from being a published author. Close your eyes just for fun. I'll be here when you get back. So will they. I want you to hold one of your books and feel what it's like to get a box of these in the mail because you're silly enough to order 10 or 12 or 200 of your own book. What's it feel like being a published author? Seeing your name on the cover. And what's it like having people write to you saying, thanks?
It's exciting.
Yeah.
It, it's heartwarming to see that my words and my story has helped them in some form or fashion, it feels good. That's not
I
sugar.
just,
It
I
feels good.
just want you to take what we call the 18-inch adventure. You got out of your head, into your heart, and into your belly.
Mhm.
That's the difference between vision and escapism.
Mm.
Escapism, wow. Or just a little bit of heart, nothing.
Right.
And you go head, heart, and you'll see it on the video. You went, it tickled your belly bones. Guess what you're going to do? Enjoy.
Get to work. I love it, Mr. 2020. This has been so awesome. I believe that you are going to help many people in today's episode and how you just shared your stories. And you bring so much light, humor, and joy into people's lives. I can feel it, I can sense it, I know it. So thank you so much for being you. Thank you so much for coming back to life, right? Thank you, God, for bringing him back.
That's it. That's it.
So that he
That's
can
it.
share everything that he's experienced in this world. So thank you so much.
As grandma would say, ditto, kiddo. Thanks for letting your sunshine shine, for being you, for not settling for excuses. When you sent me the last little bit you sent me, your devotion to excellence dissolves excuses. And the world is full of excuses, and I want more excellence. So this has been an absolute pleasure and honor to dance with you.
Thank you so much. Likewise, ditto, kiddo.
All right.
Until next time, everyone, I am your coach and your host. Please follow Mr. 2020, Mr2020.com, and you will be blessed by all the information, all the knowledge and wisdom that he carries. And let's continue to root for Kung Fu Panda for the next name change. Okay, if I'm gonna put this in the poll, you want the new name to be Kung Fu Panda.
Yeah.
Kung Fu.
Hey, everybody loves pandas. That's all right.
Excuse me, people. Kung Fu King. I'm voting for it. If you're voting for it, let's have some fun and show him that we want Kung Fu King next. Until next time, I'm your girl, your coach, and your host, Giovanna Cerullo. Bye.